It's happy hour again from Central City, New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. We're at Casa Borrega on Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard, just at Felicity Street here in Central City. Casa Borrega is a bar, it's a restaurant, and it's a live music venue where you can come and have awesome food, hear some awesome music, and have an incredible drink. What are we drinking here today, ladies and gentlemen? It's a green drink.
Neon Jolly Rancher Surprise.
Yeah. Is that what it's called? Neon Jolly Rancher Surprise. I like that.
That's how you say that in Spanish. That's what.
Can you say that in Spanish?
No.
Anybody? Nobody. Okay, here we go. In the next 60 minutes, you're going to get to meet 4 of the many thousands of fascinating people who live in New Orleans, and you're going to hear some live music as well. Lots of it at the end of the show. You might conclude New Orleans is a great city where people love to talk, have fun, and enjoy great music, but there's a fair chance you know that already, so let's get right on with doing nothing. But enjoying the next 60 minutes of happy hour together. My guests sitting around the table in no particular order except this are John Ritchie. Hi, John.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, more to the point?
I'm great.
Really?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that thing on your head in a minute?
Nah, let's leave the scar on my head.
Okay, leave it out. Okay. John is a movie producer, writer, and director, and the co-founder of Scrub Brush Productions, a New Orleans film company dedicated to creating socially relevant media. Yeah, you're on the right show.
Right.
We are socially relevant.
You are?
Oh, no, it was
Striving to
irrelevant.
become.
I'm sorry, I misread that. John's debut film, which took 2 years to make, is a feature-length documentary called Shell Shocked. The film is about how the environment in which underserved youth grow up directly contributes to the amount of shootings that occur in cities across the United States. Scrub Brush Productions has also contributed content for the City of New Orleans Save Our Sons program, and their current project is a documentary for Ceasefire NOLA. What is Ceasefire NOLA?
Ceasefire NOLA is a program that it originated in Chicago, and it came down here about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And actually, it's right down the street from y'all. It's about 3 blocks down that way, and it's what Ceasefire does is it brings people in that live in communities that have been ridden with gun violence, and they recruit people to intervene into gun disputes before they happen.
Well, how do you get that job? That would be a good job for you, Andrew.
Well, you
You
had to
could
have street
intervene
cred.
in gun disputes before.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Body armor or something.
I don't think that.
Stop shooting.
Yeah.
Who volunteers for that? What kind of a person is going to volunteer to get involved in a gun dispute?
They don't volunteer.
volunteer.
They're recruited. What happens is that it's people that are from the neighborhood, and they have to be credible messengers. They have to be people that the kids growing up in this neighborhood,
Someone's going to listen to.
Yeah, they respect. And so these are guys that are oftentimes kind of grew up in the same circumstances as a lot of the kids that are getting into trouble today. And so what they do is they intervene in the disputes before it results in gun violence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk
That's
more
intense.
about that in a minute. Let's move on in the meantime. Johnette Downing is here as well. John and Johnette. Hello, Johnette. Is that your real name, by the way?
That's my real name.
Why did your parents name you Johnette, I wonder?
My dad was John, my grandfather's John, my nephew, my brother, me.
Were they
It's just-
expecting to have a boy?
They're not very creative with names.
It is extra. That's not true.
There are other names, people.
No, but it is creative. I don't think I've ever met anyone called Johnette before. It's spelled
Yeah.
John E-T-T-E,
Right,
not Jeanette.
But do you say
Right.
Johnette or do you say Jeanette?
Johnette. But in
Johnette.
Louisiana, I get a lot of Jeanette.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know a couple Johnettes, for the record.
Do you?
Ah.
Yes, I do.
Where are they from?
Shreveport.
Shreveport.
That's where
They're-
I'm from.
You're from Shreveport.
Yeah,
And
originally.
there's more than one woman called Johnette in Shreveport.
There's actually, you know what? So there was John Atwood I grew up with, and then also one of the people that used to be the head of Ceasefire New Orleans was Janetta Presley. But I think Janetta was from
Janetta.
Yeah,
That's
from
not-
the Northeast. So
Janetta, yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's another one. Anyway, I have to get on with this. Come on now. We can't start talking about our names all Johnette Downing is a singer, songwriter, musician, and author for children, their families, and their educators. Johnette, who is also referred to as musical ambassador to children and the Pied Piper of Louisiana music traditions. That's very difficult to say that on the radio. Pied Piper. Is also listen to this, the recipient of 22 international awards for her work and cultural exchanges celebrating the joy of childhood through music and literature. Wow. I see why our incredible producer, Graham DePonte, put you two guys together.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's interesting.
Do you?
I think that was going to come clear in a minute. Johnette's
I see it.
been quoted in practically every major publication in the country, and here in New Orleans was named Woman of the Year by City Business, one of the 30 people to watch by New Orleans Magazine, and 40 under 40 by Gambit. Come on, that's
Yeah.
70 altogether.
Yeah.
People to watch.
People to watch. 30 people to watch.
Surveillance or-
And it was one of the women of the year. I wasn't the
Oh, you went Woman of the Year.
Yeah.
Who were the other women?
There were so many fantastic women in the city, so it was among a good audience of great women.
Really?
Mhm.
How does City Business pick them? By how much money you make, or
No.
Good looking? Swimsuit competition or what?
No, I think it's what you contribute to the society. And
There's
yeah.
no swimsuit competition for Woman of the Year then. No, there's not.
Yet.
Yes, maybe on the show.
Outside of New Orleans, Johnette, and sorry to subject you to this kind of bullshit
it's
when you're,
fine.
it's not fair really when you're actually successful and, you're doing something good for the world. Outside of New Orleans, Johnette has performed for kids, given educator workshops and keynote addresses in the Middle East, Africa, Asia, Central America, North America, and the Caribbean.
Right.
Why would you ever come back if you're in the Caribbean?
Yeah.
Well, this is the North Shore of the Caribbean.
I guess that's
yeah,
true.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
So you've been all around the world. So you know a lot about what's going on in the world. Maybe we can get onto that and you could explain to us what's happening.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm more of, I'm kind of in a tunnel with kids' music, and kids' culture. So I don't. It's kind of depressing to see what's going on in the big world with big people. Yeah.
Well, that's why there's alcohol. That's why we have Happy Hour. Jeremy Phipps is here as well, making a return to Happy Hour. Hi, Jeremy.
How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome back. Come in so we can hear you. I know it's uncomfortable, but
No, it's
you
like
just have to
I'm
suck it up.
interested with the paper is gonna say because there's so many good introductions over here. I'm like yeah. So it's like
and
he's a
here's this
trombone player.
and here's this other guy. Yeah. Let's see what they've given me to say about you. Jeremy Phipps is a musician who performs in a number of simultaneous New Orleans musical incarnations of varying genres. How's that? Including brass band, funk, rock, reggae, and rap. That's impressive right there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Come on, you can hold your own with these guys. You can catch Jeremy in his own band, Jeremy Phipps and the Outsiders, as well as with My Name is John Michael, Nasimiu, and is this pronounced Yohimbo
Oh.
or Yojimbo?
Yojimbo.
Yojimbo. I don't even know who that is. Who is Yojimbo?
Yojimbo is a band that I used to play.
Yeah,
But they're like a,
it's all
like
over for
it's like
Yojimbo.
it's like an experimental 3-piece. Like it's like a trombone player and a keyboardist and a bass player. I mean, he plays keys and bass and like a drummer that like plays like really experimental, crazy stuff. It's pretty.
But
cool.
is it all over for Yojimbo, or you still get together once in a while when you?
Oh, Yojimbo still exists. I'm just not in the band.
Oh,
I
they're
was
still
kind of
going.
like
You're
a-
not in it. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I was kind of like a
What happened?
New
Musical
Orleans
difference of opinion?
Well, man, it's hard. It's hard out here for a musician. I'm just playing. It was. I was kind of like a fun addition, and then they went and did their own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Screw them, right?
Yeah. Screw them.
Yeah. Okay. And what about these other bands you're in as well? The Lanyard Brass Band, the Upstarts, and Ashton Hines' Big Easy Brawlers. Jeremy's also performed with, among others, Irma Thomas, Galactic, and Shamar Allen. You perform with Galactic as well?
Yeah.
Is this true? What I'm reading? You don't have to.
No. It was at
It is.
Tipperton's. Yeah. It was cool. I've done funner stuff than that since.
Well, what can
since
we
then.
add to that?
Oh, wait. Oh, I went to Spain. I just came back in like a couple weeks ago.
Andrew was in
Wow.
Spain as well.
We were in
Yeah.
Spain at the same time.
I follow you on Instagram.
Nice.
You guys don't know each other?
Yeah, we're
No,
friends
I-
of friends, more
Yeah.
or less. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got like the drummer was James Murato on that thing, right?
Yeah.
James
Yeah.
and I are
Okay.
boys. Yeah.
That's funny. So what were you doing? You were doing. You were on tour in Spain?
Yeah, I was on tour. I was with Lanyard, matter of fact. Lanyard Brass Band. We was
Okay.
on tour in Spain. It was really
That's a
really
great
fun. Yeah,
gig.
we went to like these little beach towns and stuff, and we played like some festivals and some like real down home like Spanish family parties and stuff, and it was like yeah.
Do
seen
you
a
get
lot
to
of-
see much of the country, both of you, Andrew? This is Andrew Duhon, who's our Happy Hour troubadour who roams around the country and then once in a while
Sometimes
comes
yeah.
back.
Sure enough.
So that's a good enough introduction for you, right?
Yeah,
But,
it's fine. Go back,
I
yeah.
just want to get that in. I'm going to get back to Andrew. I'm going to get to Jeremy's. What do you need?
Oh, I'm just I'm really loud.
Bottle opener? Oh, tune up. Oh, you can turn it down here on this thing.
Okay.
Which one are you, though?
This one.
Okay, Andrew's on the case there. Any better?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
some. Well, yeah.
Too loud?
No. We good now.
Okay. All right. What the hell are we talking about? Spain?
Talking about Spain, yeah.
Spain. So do you get to see much of the country when you're over there on tour?
Yeah. We went to like just like a bunch of castles, like 5 different castles, and
Right.
ate a lot of octopus, and like we went down to Portugal to like spend some time, and
Wow.
and we did a lot of exploring and just
Wow.
like.
So there's plenty of time off. You're not sitting around playing brass band music.
Well, it was strategic because when you go on tour like with as a musician, like you probably know, like, you kind of get, like, stuck inside of the hotel.
Right.
Like, they're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to just sleep until the show. And
Too
then,
many
like, I
honeys
was
down
like,
in the lobby trying to get at you.
You know, it's hard. But then you kind of just have to, like, take control and be like, okay, I'm going to make this worthwhile and not just like a tour, you know, like not just like shows and
So you book it so you have time to get out and see things.
No, it'll be like, okay, I'm waking up, I'm getting off a show at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I got to wake up in a couple hours and go out and do stuff.
So you force yourself to do that.
Yeah.
It's amazing how, you know, just a 2-hour train ride and a 3-hour show can take up 24 hours every time. So, it's insane.
Yeah.
But you're traveling with a band, of course, Jeremy, which is a whole bigger undertaking. Who books all that? You have like management and all that stuff?
Well, this one was kind of, it's usually like some company or something, but this time this married Spanish couple came down and saw the band, and it was like, oh, we want to bring you out to Spain. And you know, people say crazy stuff all the time, but like they actually went through, and it's our second time going, and they literally, like, it's like a lawyer and a teacher, and they just use every contact they have to put together this like crazy tour and like all this stuff, and like we played a lot of sold out shows and just like craziness, and it was all off of these two people who just like don't even do music. So it kind of shows you like what you can do if you just reach out into it's like the 6 layers of separation, 8 layers.
Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
So that was it's just people who just love music putting it together.
Yeah.
Does that happen in the United States? Do people go in other countries and see some other band playing in Spain and say, hey, we'll bring you over here? Or you're up against Clear Channel and Ticketmaster at that point here?
I can't say that would. I mean, my American friends, I wouldn't imagine anybody trying to bring anybody in town. But we have so much music. They don't have as much live music as we have.
So now your current band, St. Bell, has put out one album already, right?
Yeah.
Food Coloring.
Yeah.
Was the first one. That was great. And what's going on with, what are you currently doing? Are you back in the studio or what's happening?
I'm in the studio, and I'm like, I was done-ish, but you know,
something happened.
you always done-ish, and like I just refuse to stop writing songs until like it's like time to put it out. But I'm about to release a single like today's supposed to be, but it's going to be tomorrow.
So if you're listening to this, it's going to be tomorrow somewhere.
Yeah.
So
well, by the time.
Good point, right, John?
Right.
Thanks very much. See,
Yeah.
someone got it. Okay. So where do I find the new single and what's it called?
It's gonna be called We Rise, and it's gonna be on saintbell.com. Saint spelled out like
SAINT.
Yeah.
That is the correct spelling for St. Bell, right? And
Yeah.
bell is like the bell.
Yeah, like.
Why don't we play it right now? Have you got a guitar here somewhere?
I can play a song.
You don't want to do that?
The thing is, it's usually like a full band, so I have to consolidate it. But
can you do a version of it, or you want to do something else?
I can do a song.
Okay.
That's gonna be on the album tentatively.
Okay.
Man.
Let's take a listen. Which one of these guitars is yours? Everyone's a guitar player here today, so we've got tons of music on the show today.
Oh, right. On the spot.
So, yeah, okay. Well, we'll wait till Jeremy comes back, and then.
Don't we have to do the Andrew Duhon introduce?
No, we already did that.
No, we did that. I just did a truncated version of the Andrew Duhon introduction.
In the meantime, we're talking about John Scab, right?
Let's do it. How did you hit? John's got this big scar on his head. Like a scab is a better description of it.
Yeah.
And the thing he doesn't want to talk about it now. We're forced to.
All right.
Yeah.
So, y'all wanted the story?
Yeah, what happened?
All right. So my friend Zach is in town. He used to live here. He now lives in New York. And it was his 30th birthday on Friday. And so we all went out. And, you know, we had a good time. We drank a lot. But it wasn't, like, too much or anything like that. But I got home really late at night.
You weren't drunk. Well, let's get that straight.
I was not
drunk.
No,
right.
not at all.
Nothing to do with it.
Not at all. Not at all.
Just happened to be Zach's 30th birthday, and you got home late, but you were even though you went out drinking, but you weren't drunk. Let's make sure we understand.
Yeah, right. I
Okay.
had to work the next day. So
At what? What were you doing?
I was working with NFL Films on the Steve Gleason story. So
shooting it.
Oh, nice.
Oh well, I mean, I was helping the guy that was shooting it.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so I get into my room. I'm tired, and I'm taking my pants off. And
okay, now we're getting some.
All right. Well, actually, I was alone, so it's not that exciting. So
Okay.
anyway, I'm trying to get out my left foot, and it gets stuck in the pant. and I'm sitting there and I'm struggling with it.
How many feet have you got? Just the 2, right?
I just
like
have
everybody
two.
else. Okay.
Like as far as
You take your pants off one leg at a time, like everybody else.
Right, yeah, but I'm
Okay.
standing on the right foot while I'm
Yes.
trying to get the left one out, right?
Okay.
And so then, as far as it gets caught up, and it's not that I even fall over. I actually kind of like project right into the wall.
Oh yeah.
And
You hit the wall with your
I hit the wall with
forehead.
my forehead, and I hit it so hard that it knocked the mirror off the bathroom wall, which was the
other side.
adjoining. Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. But fortunately, the mirror didn't.
7
the
years
mirror
bad
didn't
luck?
break.
No,
the mirror didn't
thank
break.
God
The
for
mirror
that.
didn't break. Skin actually didn't break, so it wasn't real messy or like that. It just left me with a really kind of ugly scar on my forehead.
The ego
So-
broke though.
You know what? Actually, when I heard the mirror fall, and like once I realized what I had done,
Yeah.
I actually started laughing really hard
Totally.
because I
Well,
mean,
'cause
like,
you
what
were
are you gonna
drunk,
do?
let's face it,
No,
right?
That's beautiful.
you keep on saying that I was drunk, but
I
that
don't.
is
I didn't.
not the
I never
case.
said you were drunk.
No,
I
but
was
mean,
on your side
I
saying you
understand
weren't.
the implications of what it is that you're saying.
But you totally weren't. Because have you ever done that before?
No,
And does anyone live in your house with you?
no, I live alone.
So no one had to be disturbed by the mirror falling off the wall. No neighbors or anything came
No,
rushing
no,
to call the cops.
that's completely my problem. The mirror being.
Pity that there's not someone. Pity there's not someone who could intervene between you and the mirror in times like this. You know, like ceasefire,
Right, yeah, maybe they'd have to start a whole other organization.
like a whole organization, like
Yeah.
mirror ceasefire.
I don't think it's that serious, though.
No,
You
it
know?
doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a great story though. But I think we could probably come up with a better one for you.
No,
though.
that's all. That's
you
a
think
good
that's
one.
good?
Yeah.
Got my.
I mean, it's an honest story.
It is
you know?
funny.
Yeah.
And how did you feel
Well,
in the morning?
I felt fine. Yeah, I
No.
mean, I had to go to work.
How was that Steve Gleason thing? That was part of the opening of the Saints football season.
Yeah.
The
like,
Gleason Gra.
Yeah, this weekend was the first season of regular play, and Steve Gleason led the Who Dat chant on the field.
Right.
Right now, NFL Films is doing this thing that's called a football player's life, and one of the stories that they're doing is Steve Gleason.
Nice.
And so they featured his organization, which is No White Flags, and they also talked about his trip to Machu Picchu with Scott Fujita and other people in his organization, where they carried him and another man with ALS, up the whole trail, and
Wow.
it took them, a full day to do it, and it was extremely, physically strenuous, and so they shot a video about that trip, and so they premiered the video, and for the family, and I don't know. I mean, I know how a lot of people feel about Steve Gleason in the city, but I mean, his story. I mean, are you familiar with it?
How can you not know the story, and how could you feel anything other than sympathy?
Just being
and-
absolute or
He's
really
a-
inspired.
Yeah.
I mean, that he's a pretty amazing individual.
He is. It's tough what he's going through. I mean, you're watching this guy who was a pinnacle of human achievement in a certain to an extent.
Yeah.
He's super fit and super strong, and could just waste away like this. It's
Well,
it's
yeah.
horrible.
I mean, that's one way of looking at it. But another way of looking at it is this too: is that despite the fact that he has this illness, he hasn't allowed it to stop him from still doing amazing things, and great things. And so what he's done is he's dedicated his life and his efforts toward battling or trying to find funds to deal with his
Right.
illness. And I think that it's something that's inspiring is that you never hear him complain about his illness. He never looks at it as being a weakness. He continues on. He's a very sharp individual.
and it has
so-
nothing to do with football.
Right.
It's not a football injury. It's just a sheer random chance.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that
I think they
somebody-
don't
people
know.
get.
They don't know what.
Oh, they don't know
They
that.
don't know right now. There's not enough research into
Right.
it. So anyway, that's what I did over the weekend. Is I
Whacked your head into the mirror, whacked your head in the wall,
I got
and
drunk
then
at a
shot
friend's
that.
birthday party, whacked my head in the mirror, and then
Finally.
I
Yeah.
spent the weekend filming Steve Gleason. So
Pretty good weekend.
Yeah,
And
it
how's
wasn't a bad
how's
weekend.
Zach? Is Zach going back to New York?
no, Zach goes back on Saturday, and I think that last time I heard, he's doing pretty good.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Jeremy. That was a bit of a. It didn't take you that long to go get the guitar from across the room here. You might have to just move in a little bit.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to play for us?
I'm gonna play a song called "Pattern of Life." I wrote it a long time ago.
What made you think of playing it today? What? brought it to
Because most of my songs I have to play with like a full big setup, but this one I can do with just a guitar.
Okay.
Honestly, but for movie's sake, man, I just gotten so inspired about this, this this
place.
room and you know
Yeah.
this
Man,
street.
sounds good.
All right,
Okay.
all right. You waited so long, sat pretty on the throne, and cried yourself to sleep until we came home. Bursting through the door taunts you even more. Running, jumping, screaming down the carpet floor. That's the pattern of life. Here's how it goes. It's the thrill of the chase, not what it beholds. That's the pattern of life. Here's how it goes. It's the thrill of the chase, not what it beholds. That's the pattern of life. The initial high enters your gullible mind. Its fall will be more steep, so don't you be blind. Then we leave again. Oh, how much you will we cry yourself a puddle till we're back from the street. That's the pattern of life. Here's how it goes. It's the thrill of the chase, not what it beholds. That's the pattern of life. Here's how it goes. It's the thrill of the chase, not what it beholds. That's the pattern of life. Search for that thing that keeps you happy. If not, you'll be waiting and nothing will change. Tales from the carpet was never vibrant. I thought I knew from which my blessings were sent. That's the pattern of life. Here's how it goes. It's the thrill of the chase, not what it beholds. That's the pattern of life. Here's how it goes. It's the thrill of the chase, not what it beholds. That's the pattern of life. That's the pattern of life. Here's how it goes. It's the thrill of the chase, not what it beholds. That's the pattern of life. Here's how it goes. It's the thrill of the chase, not what it beholds. That's the pattern of life.
Man, that was awesome.
Very nice. Is that something that you still believe, even though you wrote that a long time ago? It's the thrill of the chase, not what it beholds.
You know, it kind of comes true over and over again. Because I like you kind of buy stuff and then like it just like you got all happy like, oh yeah, here it is, and then like you get it and then it's like, oh yeah, this is so cool, and like then it's like, okay,
Just
then you're
that
looking
thing.
for the next thing.
Yeah.
And, that sort of.
But that's kind of depressing.
I mean, it's depressing in a way because that excitement is really exciting.
Well, there's no real happiness though at all.
Yeah. Well,
Happiness is the
Stuff is
journey, not the
kinda-
destination, right?
Yeah.
Well, is that?
Yeah, I wrote
Yeah.
it about a dog though, because
About it.
my dog, he would just like, my sister's dog, she would just like,
Let me take that for you.
oh,
I can put that somewhere. Hang on.
yeah, my
Your
sister's
sister's
dog,
dog?
he would be like, when you first walk in the house, he's like, oh, so excited, and he'd just like jump around and stuff, and then an hour later, he's like back to doing his thing, and then like he hears a car coming up the street, and he just gets all excited again, and then like the person comes and he's like, yeah, and then it goes back to regular life, and then it's like over and over again, and that's like his whole life is just a car coming and people coming in the house, which is kind of sad, actually.
But then again, you're saying that's the thrill of the chase. That's the pattern of life. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's what we're all doing. And Andrew's saying that it's the chase. That's life itself.
Yeah. Just keep chasing, never get there, and you'll always be happy.
So actually achieving nothing is more satisfying than
Sounds
achievement.
like it, yeah.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
But then like what's that word comes, like gratitude comes? Oh, it was, and then like you being grateful for what you have, then then I guess you get there.
Mm.
But if you never
Well, being
That's
grateful
key.
for what you've got is the key to the whole thing, isn't
That
it?
is the key.
Rather
yeah.
than thinking that the next thing that you're going to achieve is what's going to make you happy.
Sure.
Because
But-
it isn't.
But also, how old are you?
21.
21. So
Yeah.
I mean, 21. You want to be more like as far as into like the idea of the chase. It's only as you get older that you start to be appreciative of the things that you have. Don't you think?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I think. Well, I think
So, I
that's
mean-
what the song's about, though. That it's the pattern of life. That's how it goes.
But it'd be really sad if he was, if the song was about from a 21-year-old perspective, saying that I'm happy with the things that I have at 21. Don't you think? Like as far as there's something about like as
Yeah,
far as
right.
being younger,
Sure.
right? So
Yeah.
You've had a lot of experiences in those 21 years.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of stuff. Go on.
I mean, I'm happy.
You seem happy enough. That's for
You
sure.
just got back from Spain. What do you think? Of course.
Johnette, Johnette, you're the expert on kids. What age do we stop being perpetually happy? You see kids running around, and they seem to be always happy.
I don't know.
What age do you start being aware that you were not just happy about being pissed off because your sister or your brother did something, or mom won't let you have an ice cream?
I don't know. I mean, I do see the world through children's eyes, so you're always happy. I mean, I think you never stop being happy. And I think gratitude is a big part of that, waking up every morning and saying, I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for this home.
Is
and
that possible?
Yeah, I do it every morning.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, you wake up in the morning. That's
Yeah.
interesting right there.
Yeah, because
What time do you get up? Seriously,
I'm a
what
night
time?
owl, actually.
What time do you... Oh, there you go. What
So
time?
8 or 9, maybe.
8 or 9?
Unless I have a show, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very important, I think, is to be happy with where you are and who you are and where you're going, and to, I don't know, to visualize what you want. And
What do you want?
everybody wants to be happy, right? Yeah.
I guess. But so what are you visualizing? What makes you happy?
I like seeing again, I just said that before, but I like seeing the world through children's eyes because they don't have that veil, like you were mentioning, they don't have the veil of experience and seeing the hardships and things that people, but also they have that sense of wonder when they see something. They're curious and they're interested, and I think as long as you keep your curiosity with you and you're curious about things and you're interested in what other people do, and you can appreciate and be thankful for other people as well, like just appreciating what he just performed, Jeremy, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
But we all sort of share that, probably. We all agree with you and, see kids playing in the playground or think how cool, and then most of us just get on with our lives and get on with hating everybody else. What made you stop and want to stop there in that place and make that your life?
I think because they're so, because there is that joy, that natural joy that they don't, and the honesty too. I mean, I played music for adults for a long time too, and they're, oh yeah, that's nice,
Fabulous.
but yeah, great show, great show. And then you play music for children, and they'll say like, that was dumb, I didn't like that song, that one sucked, and so okay, so I just love the honesty. Then you know where you stand all the time with kids. And there's no judgment too. Especially I work with younger children, and there's no judgment there either. It's just an honest response. And
Would you like it better if people were honest with you all the time, like us right now? Would that be better?
yes, I do like that actually.
You do?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with that. But in the same vein, the children will say, "That song was awesome." That was
Right.
great. And they love.
And they mean it actually.
they
So
mean
there
it.
is that.
Yeah, they mean it. Yeah. So
What made you stay there, though? I mean, when you figured that out at some point, obviously, that you love kids and you love working with kids and their perspective, was there a moment that you thought, hey, you know what, why don't I just do this for a living, or did you just sort of drift into it?
No, I was playing music, as I said, for adults, and a person said, "You're so great. You're so."
You didn't believe
natural."
that, did you?
No. She didn't say you were so great. I went, "You're great. Yeah, you're great." No, but she said you would be really great with kids. You're really funny, and you just have that kind of inner light. And it was, seriously, it sounds like a cliche, but a bell went off. It was like ding in my head. It's like, that's it. that's what I'm supposed to do with my life. And
Wow.
I believe, in the Tao, like you're in your flow, and I was in my flow at that moment, and my career has just kind of gone organically that way.
When was that?
Oh, it's probably I was playing at the Penny Post, if you remember that place. Yeah, it's the Neutral Ground now.
Oh, it's a
but
neutral
it's been-
ground. That was called
yeah,
the Penny Post
the Penny
originally.
Post back
Okay.
then. So I guess that was in the 80s, maybe.
So you're
yeah.
like a folk singer.
Right. Yeah.
So there was one
I
night
stay
at the
there
Penny
be-
Post.
Yeah, and I stay there because it is where I'm supposed to be, and everything kind of unfolds organically when you're in your flow, your river.
What do people think of you? Other, people that you go out with, musicians or guys you date or whatever. That, what do people think about someone who's singing children's songs all day? I mean, we see Mr. Rogers, and we think like, what a wacky guy. Really? I mean, I don't know Mr. Rogers. I mean, he's not alive anymore, of course, but he probably had a normal life. He probably sat around a bar and had a cocktail like everybody else,
Probably.
like you were doing. But we just saw
Mine's
that
lemonade.
slice of him.
I'm
You're having,
drinking
I'm sorry, of course. It's
Lemonade.
not really a cocktail.
Yeah, you guys are having a
But
cocktail.
But that sort of thing, that sort of statement, I mean, you have to have this reputation now as like Mr. Rogers was squeaky clean. And what was his name, that other guy
I'm
that
pretty
dressed?
squeaky clean, though.
Yeah, are you really squeaky clean?
Yeah, I'm pretty clean. Yeah. Well, my music is a little different, than most children's performers because mine is Louisiana. I'm really passionate about Louisiana roots
Right.
music
And food.
and food.
You have a lot of stuff about food in
I
your
do
songs.
a lot. Well, because I'm from here, and music and food go hand in hand. So that's what we all are about here.
Right.
So
You want to play one?
sure, I can.
I think
do,
you should teach us all a song, don't you think?
Sure.
I can do one we can all
Actually-
sing, and it's my signature song, and it's about food. So
What is
Alright.
it? What is
it's
your
Today
signature?
is Monday in Louisiana.
Today's Monday in Louisiana.
And it teaches children about the days of the week and the foods we eat in Louisiana during the week.
I could use a brush up on that. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let me grab the guitar.
Okay. You've got this graphite guitar.
I do.
It's very fancy. Tell us the story about why you have a graphite guitar. Well, first of all, just to,
that's nice.
it's you can see these photos on our Facebook page actually, but this guitar it's sort of black and brown striped, kind of with mother of pearl around the center.
Yeah, well, I've been real fortunate to be able to play around the world, play music for children around the world. And I got invited to go to Indonesia. And I heard at that time if you brought a wooden instrument, like a guitar, into that country, you weren't able to bring it back out because of the
That's
laws.
how they get guitars in Indonesia.
Yeah, I think they were protecting, woods and stuff, the precious woods and rare woods. So a lot of, even Gibson, I think it was in Memphis, I think the Gibson factory is, a lot of their instruments were confiscated because they had all these rare woods from rainforest and stuff.
Oh, really?
Like, teak, rosewood, that kind of things.
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe not teak.
Lucky you heard that before you went. How did you hear that?
Exactly. So I bought this graphite.
Wow. Do you have like a manager or something that sets all this up?
I do it all myself. Yeah.
So how'd you hear about the wooden guitar?
This graphite?
No, how'd you hear about the Indonesian
Oh, when I went on the trip,
confiscation?
yeah.
How did you hear about that before you
'Cause
got there?
it was a big story about Gibson. A lot of
Uh-huh.
their guitars had been confiscated in their factory. So,
How crazy.
and also it's graphite, so I can carry it. It won't get messed up in the airline. The
Like
neck
Andrew's
doesn't-
guitar got smashed by Southwest Airlines.
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Right over here.
Did you see that YouTube United Airlines that they broke my guitar?
Yeah.
It was this really great video. It was really funny. They broke my guitar. They wouldn't fix it, so this guy made this whole music video. United. It was called United Breaks Guitars. Yeah, it was pretty
Well,
funny.
Southwest
that was
did
around the
yours,
same
right?
time.
Yeah, but that one's kind of my fault. I don't blame Southwest. They've been pretty good lately.
Oh, they have. Okay, so we're going to stop knocking
Yeah,
Southwest
I don't
right.
know.
All right,
Okay.
I'm off it. Okay, it's Monday in Louisiana.
Yes.
John Downing.
So you guys have to help because
Okay, well
I
these
play
do it.
music
these
for
are
children.
these two are professional musicians.
All
so
of us.
And
We have a
I'll
drummer
try.
too.
and a
I'll try.
drummer.
And you're a
Okay.
drummer. See if it's still in tune. Yeah. Today is Monday. Today is Monday. Monday, red beans, all you lucky children. Come and eat it up. Come and eat it up. What comes after Monday, guys?
Tuesday!
Today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. Tuesday, po' boys. Monday.
Red beans
Red
rice!
beans rice.
All you lucky children, come and eat it up. Come and eat it up. What comes after Tuesday?
Wednesday!
Today is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. Wednesday gumbo. Tuesday,
Po' boys.
Monday.
Red beans and
All
rice.
you lucky children, come and eat it up.
More beer.
Come and eat it up. Children's song. Okay. What comes after
Sorry.
Wednesday?
Oh,
Thursday.
Today is Thursday. Today is Thursday. Thursday jambalaya. Wednesday
I wasn't listening.
It wasn't.
Hang on.
Wait a
Gumbo,
minute,
gumbo.
wait a minute.
gumbo.
Gumbo.
Tuesday,
Po' boys.
Oh, boys.
Monday.
Red
beans
beans and
and
rice.
All you lucky children, come and eat it up. Come and eat it up. What comes after Thursday?
Friday.
Oh, you're
Whoa.
so good.
Raise your hand.
It's my turn. It's my turn. Today is Friday. Today is Friday. Now you know what Friday in Louisiana. What do we eat?
Catfish.
Friday, catfish. Thursday,
pork.
jambalaya. Wednesday,
Gumbo.
Tuesday,
Po'
Po'
boys.
boys.
Monday.
Red beans and
All
rice.
you lucky children, come and eat it up. Come and eat it
I want
up.
to sit out this one.
I'm hungry.
What comes after? What comes after Friday?
Saturday.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday. Saturday, crawfish. Friday,
Jambalaya.
No, it's catfish.
Catfish. Oh, man.
Jeremy's out.
Thursday,
Jambalaya.
Wednesday,
Gumbo.
Tuesday,
Po' boys.
Monday.
Red beans and
All
rice.
you lucky children, come and eat it up. Come and eat it up. What comes after Saturday?
Sunday.
Today is Sunday. Today is Sunday. Sunday. What do you think?
Go, we have a salad.
We get a
Yes.
Piccadilly, or we go to we
Something
go
healthy.
We go to the
What do you think? What do you do on Saturday, on Sunday?
Yeah, something healthy. Come on,
we eat
there
it.
must be something good.
Sunday.
Bloody
If you're
Mary.
from Louisiana,
Kale.
Sunday. If you're from Louisiana, what would you do on Sunday?
Go to church.
Bloody Mary.
You might,
Church.
I mean, you might go to like
Charity,
you might
you just
go to like a cafeteria after church, or
Barbecue.
It's
Do 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 do.
What do you do on Sunday?
man.
Okay, well, let's go around the table. What do you, John, what do you
What
do
do you
on
do on
Sunday?
I go to brunch.
Go to brunch. Where do you
Brunch
go?
is good.
You know what? I like Katie's.
Katie's?
This is good.
Yeah, okay. Jeremy?
I would eat catfish on a Sunday.
You'd eat catfish on Sunday.
I like the
It's
questionnaire
too
so
late.
though. It's good.
Yeah.
Andrew, what do you do on Sunday?
Sunday.
What do you eat on a Sunday morning? Croissants.
Yep.
Maybe a brisket.
French
Maybe what?
A brisket, maybe.
Slow
No?
cooker feels
Yeah,
good.
slow,
French?
a
You got
slow
all
cook.
day.
A slow,
I
yeah.
would go to like the bakery and get a croissant or something, or one of those almond-filled
Well,
croissants.
what about a the beignet?
Sunday. Sunday beignet. You got it.
How did you
Saturday.
get that?
Saturday is crawfish.
That's right.
Friday.
Catfish.
Thursday.
Jambalaya.
Wednesday.
Gumbo.
Gumbo.
Tuesday.
Po' boys.
Monday.
Red beans and
All you
rice.
lucky children, come and eat it up. Sing it. Come and eat it up.
Come and
eat it.
Okay. Now,
Oh man, I like this living a kid's life thing. I was skeptical at first, but I am in now.
see it.
I am in.
you know something? What age kids can remember all that? I can't remember all that. Could you say all that? We hardly could remember. We got it wrong.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was food for every day in New Orleans.
I don't think
I'm
that is. You
learning
made that
something.
up, right? There's not.
Well, Monday, of course, red beans and
Well,
rice.
that's right,
That's
okay.
a tradition because of wash day.
yeah.
And do you know that story, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, we in Louisiana a long time ago they would do laundry on Monday, so you could cook red beans and the rice slowly all day long while you attended to the laundry. At the end of the day, the laundry and the beans were done. So it's wash day, and
You
it's
know,
always red beans
I've
and rice.
always wondered when I've heard that story, what do they eat during the day while you're doing the
You're doing
labor?
laundry.
You're doing
Yeah.
laundry.
You're not
Yeah.
eating
You're not
anything.
eating. No, there's
no
a
food.
lot of laundry to do.
We're
Really?
talking washboard and
I'd
scrubbing.
I'd have a headache. Wouldn't you have a Monday's headache?
You probably wouldn't be in charge of laundry though.
Right, right.
You have to eat something while you're working,
You gotta
Yeah.
keep eating red beans, like just
That's
the
it.
whole
but they're not
day.
ready.
No, but
That's
they're
true. That's true.
They're not ready till you finish
It's
the
not
laundry. I've
ready.
always wondered about that story. Jonette, what do you say when kids ask stupid questions like that?
That's not a
Leftover
stupid
beignets
question.
from
Yeah.
Sunday, maybe.
There you go.
Aha!
Yeah, leftover. There you go. And then
Oh.
Friday
Yes.
we always eat
Catfish.
catfish, and we.
That's because
everybody
the
knows
Catholic influence,
Right,
right?
because
Right.
we have so many Roman Catholics in Louisiana, they don't eat meat on Friday, especially during
Why do we
Lent.
say Roman Catholic?
Because
I
they
don't
never
know.
know how to settle down. They're always Roman.
Roman, thank you.
Ah,
Okay, we're here,
It's
we're here
an
every
alley,
Thursday.
You know, it's
yeah.
right there. I just had to put it-
And then I put crawfish for Saturday because that's when we have parties. We invite friends and family
yeah,
over.
crawfish boils.
Yeah, the
Okay.
quickest way to have friends and family over is say you're having a crawfish bowl. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got
Okay.
it, Sunday beignets.
Yeah.
So
Nice work, Jeremy.
Okay,
Nice work.
John, yes.
No, I have a question though. Okay, so Parkway Bakery, which is a big po' boy shop here in the city, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
love
awesome.
it. A bunch of people love it. They're closed on Tuesdays.
and I love.
That's why
So-
you didn't get it, right?
It's
Why
a
you-
conspiracy.
Well, no, I'm just curious about as far as like what who's wrong? Is it Parkway or is it your song? You know?
Oh, it's not my song.
Okay, then if anybody from Parkway is listening,
Yeah.
like
Why
as
is
far as
that?
like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Well, you wrote the song before.
Right.
These
before-
guys bought Parkway recently. They bought it like after Katrina. The current
yeah.
guys who own Parkway.
Ah,
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know whether it's
Actually-
always been closed on Tuesdays, but
yeah.
that must.
Actually, they're pretty nice because I came out with a po' boy book. It's called How to Dress a Po' Boy, and it's for kids to tell them what you know,
Yeah.
because that's a funny thing.
Yeah.
You go to other places, they don't say, "Do you want your po' boy dressed?"
No.
You know.
Yeah.
No, I want it naked. I mean, you don't. You
Oh,
know, it's
right,
just
right,
kind of a
right.
weird thing. So I wrote a book for that, and Parkway was very helpful. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's Justin
It's
and Johnny
just-
Kennedy run that place, and they're really good guys.
yeah.
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 Yeah, they are. They make a great po' boy. Over
Oh,
there.
yeah.
They made a po' boy for President Obama.
Oh,
That's right.
wow.
That's right. Yeah, he came here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so what do they think in Indonesia when you played them Mondays, Red Beans and Rice Day, and so on?
Ah, well,
One of
that's
your
what-
graphite guitar.
Yeah, well, that song is such a great song for diplomacy because it doesn't have a political agenda. So what I do is I sing.
Do you
my
have
culture-
songs that do?
No, I don't.
That would be
Well,
so-
actually, yeah. I mean, a lot of children's songs do. I mean, "Ring Around the Rosie" and "London Bridge is Falling Down" and all those. They were political commentary, and fairy tales were too, but not too much modern, songs. But I forgot what I was
You were
saying.
talking about that doesn't have a political agenda, the
Oh,
song,
yeah,
so
yeah.
the
So,
kids in Indonesia like their Red Beans and Rice. on
Right.
Monday.
So what I normally do is I sing my Louisiana version, and then I say, okay, now let's talk about your food from your culture.
Okay.
And then they supply all the foods that for the week that they eat, and then we talk about what do we have in common. So it's a way to.
What
kind of
do we have
bridge.
in common with Indonesian kids?
Usually rice and fish. Usually when I use the song wherever I go, so I have like the Moroccan version and the Egyptian version and all this kind of stuff.
You've
But
been to
usually-
Egypt and Morocco and all these joints?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And you hook this all up yourself? You just decide I'm going to go to Egypt and play for kids?
No, I've been invited by teacher conferences or because I do a lot of work with teaching teachers how to use music in the classroom. Yeah. So yeah, usually in other countries, what we have in common is rice or fish. That's kind of, or
So you're not dragged into politics at all?
no, I'm not in. No,
You must make observations as you travel around the world as an adult, though, yourself.
I do. Yeah.
What are you feeling about I mean, this is an almost ridiculous question, but as someone who travels a lot,
Mm-hmm.
how much do you travel? Like a good portion of the year?
Right. I do. Yeah.
So what are you seeing around the world as you travel around? What are you feeling?
Well, I just feel like all these prejudices people have, and it's like we're all the same. We're just the same people. We're the same race. I don't get it all. But music, because I'm a messenger with music, it's kind of nice because usually everyone, I haven't been to Saudi because of music, or Yemen. But usually music is a thread that we all have in common. So it's kind of nice for me to travel around.
We
as a
say you
musician.
haven't been to Saudi Arabia or Yemen. Have you been to all the other countries in the Middle East?
I've been to many. I've been to Oman, Egypt, Morocco, Bahrain, the UAE, like Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Yeah,
And how are you treated?
very well. Yeah. I have a funny story about being in Kuwait. I was actually in Kuwait too, playing music, and I was on the plane over there, and the plane was full of these men, buzz cuts and, trying to look incognito. And of course, they were all military, U.S. military. And this gentleman says, he whispers to me, he says, "I know why we are on this plane. What the heck are you doing on this plane with a guitar going to Kuwait?" Because in
Did
some
you tell me you're a nun?
no, they thought it was a missionary, though. Yeah, you must be a missionary. Yeah. I said, no, I'm a teacher, or a musician for kids. So, but when I got to Kuwait, right before my performance, I was giving a presentation for teachers to show them how you can use music as a tool to teach. The media came out. I was like mobbed, like the paparazzi, mobbed by the media, and they were, "What are you doing here in Kuwait with the guitar? And what are you doing?" And I didn't know. I mean, I just was honest because I didn't know that there was any other
What
agenda.
could you say? Other than
I just said I'm here
play
to
my guitar. What
I'm
what
here.
other story would there be?
Yeah, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to teach our children? And so I just said, no, I'm just a teacher. I'm showing teachers how to use music. So they said, oh, okay. And so they stayed for the show. And this is about breaking down those, prejudices not we all, but many people have. So they stayed for my presentation, and afterwards they gave me this great write-up, this great glowing review in the Kuwaiti Times about, this teacher with music and this, working with kids with music. So it was really funny because it could have gone either way.
Is it so unusual in other parts of the world that education and music go together?
Yeah, that's very unusual. Yeah, music in the classroom is not common.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Is it because the form of the sort of Western form of songs is short and 2 or 3 minutes long, and in other countries like their songs are longer or more complex?
I don't know. Well, I mean, in this country too, as soon as when they cut the arts, the first thing they do is take music out of the classroom, or they take. So we're guilty of it as well.
Right. So John, you spent 2 years thinking about kids, and you've watched this transition from innocence to, I guess, loss of innocence.
Right. Well, actually, it was 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years that we worked on the film.
My goodness, that's a long time.
Yeah. It was a long time, and she's right. One of the things that we do whenever we start to cut budgets, we cut back on extracurricular things at schools, and that includes music and art programs, and a lot of schools, and also athletic programs too.
But
And
sorry, Tonette, go
I was
ahead.
going to say, and in this culture, in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and in Louisiana, music is so important to our. I mean, that's how we can really reach our kids, and to withdraw music and arts. I mean, think about where you would be, Jeremy, without music, or where I'm from here too, where I would be without having that musical influence. So that is, in Louisiana, it's really important to have music in the class because we're all naturally, that's just part of our culture.
Oh, I mean, I think across the United States, none of us wouldn't really know our ABCs if it wasn't put into a sing-song kind of way, right?
Right.
Yeah. So.
But you spent all this time, 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of what you were doing is looking at the way kids grow up in what you call underserved. I guess that means.
Yeah, I think underserved is a good way to put it.
What does that mean, underserved? Lacking in what exactly?
Well, I mean, that's one of the ways that you can talk about kids that are living below the poverty line, the ones that are most affected by gun violence. And it's kind of funny. We pick ways to talk about kids, and to try to describe what's going on. And for instance, one of the things you always hear is at risk. Mm-hmm. And I think at risk it's a bit offensive. It's saying that the kids are not going to succeed, whereas with underserved, it's something that just shows that there's a certain amount of neglect when it comes to what you think of as like being community services, like for instance having good education,
right,
or having access to good after-school programs and things like
that.
that.
And who's responsible for underserving?
Well, I mean, if you think about it as far as from the sense that in our society, you're a child till you're 18 years old, don't you think that that's something that means that all adults are kind of responsible for it? If you're a taxpayer in this society, then the thing is that you're helping and deciding where that money's going to go toward. And right now, we don't do anything for kids in public schools or for after-school programs. I mean, a lot of the after-school programs are funded by grants. The state has cut the after-school program budget by millions and millions of dollars.
So if you're living in a neighborhood or a city or a town that doesn't have a lot of money, then
you better hope that your parents have money to put you into an after-school program.
But they don't.
They don't. I mean, oftentimes, right.
Right. So I mean, if you're living, so that's what we're talking about. Underserved is this lower socioeconomic neighborhood where kids don't have the same access to. Is that what your movie is saying?
Well, I mean, it's one of the. It's not. You know what? Actually, I think that's. I was being a little bit unfair. I think that there are services out there, but I think that they can be better services. And one of the things that my film is saying, at the end in the conclusion, is that if we want to address this problem of gun violence amongst youth and do it in a way that's positive, as far as like a citizen like you or me, something that we can do is that we can volunteer more time or resources to after-school programs. Mm-hmm. And
so I could do that.
You could do that. Do
you think they let me in?
You know what? Right now, there's so few people that actually do that kind of work that they probably even accept you.
Wow, I mean,
Yeah.
but really, but that's,
I'm kidding.
but is
They'd
that
love to have you. They'd love to have you.
but no, that's the answer. That's the conclusion.
Well, I mean,
That
we're
we
not-
have to
we're-
volunteer.
Well, no, it's not saying that is the answer, and it's not saying necessarily volunteer. It's about reprioritizing what we think of as being important in our communities. I mean, as far as like when I say an after-school program, I'm talking about things that are giving kids positive ways in order to be able to develop in our communities.
Right.
And volunteering is one way that you could possibly do it, especially if you're somebody that doesn't have the resources to donate money. A lot of but you might be somebody that is too busy to do anything. But you know what? I've never run across any after-school program that couldn't use more money to run the programs. I mean, they oftentimes they operate off of grants. They're.
But is this the secret to the whole thing? Is this would this? I mean, because
I'm not saying that's
gun violence in New Orleans.
No.
I know this is your movies about the rest of the country too, but
Right.
But in New Orleans especially, which is where we are, it would be an amazing thing to be able to end gun violence here.
It
And
would.
Last week we had Darlene Costanzo, who was our guest on the show, and she was from She's the president of Crime Stoppers,
Right.
And she was saying to us pretty much the same thing, right? That we have to get kids,
Right.
it's
yeah.
10-year-old kids, that you have to intercede before that.
Well,
10
no, I
to
think
turn
that,
this around.
I think that we have to offer youth programming, and I'm not saying that youth programming is the solution. I mean, what the film does is I think it addresses a lot of institutional problems that we don't necessarily put a lot of credence into, or we don't believe that they can be as
Right.
effective as they've been, as far as like when it comes to making life hard on kids. But I think that you have to offer services and programs for kids from the time that they're young all the way through their ages, in the same way that if you I don't know if you have children or not, but in the same way that you wish that the best for your kids, you want them to be able to do things like participate in sports and to learn skills and to really enjoy life. We have to offer those kind of services for all kids, and I think that in the long run, what we could have is we could have healthier outcomes than as far as waiting for kids to be not do anything for them, as far as like wait until they get caught up in something bad and then decide that we're going to start to address the problem. I mean,
Well, that's the key to the whole thing.
Right, it's
before
preventative.
that happens.
Yeah.
What attracted you to this subject?
Well, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was working with youth out of the Recovery School District, and it was in an after-school program that was called the Fountain of Youth Foundation. And so they were working on an anti-violence campaign, and as they were working on it, I was trying to get the kids to open up and really start talking about like the issue of violence, so that we could create this campaign. And so one day, I got the kids in the program to write about a time that they either witnessed, perpetrated, or experienced violence. And this was 12 kids from all over the city. They're all honor roll students. That was the criteria in order to be a part of this program. And as I started picking up these papers, every one of the kids was writing about a time that it was either a friend or a loved one had been shot, and oftentimes it was right in front of them. And then that led into a conversation where they're sitting there talking like me and you are sitting there talking now. And it wasn't that it didn't matter. I mean, they were desensitized, but it wasn't that it didn't matter. It was something that had happened in their lives more than once, oftentimes, and that it was just something that you had to learn how to deal with, and it become very normal. And I just after living in this city by that time for 8 years and never really thinking about how gun violence affects children, it was very shocking to me, and I thought it was something that we neglected as a society or as a community, and that it was something that we really, especially at that time, needed to really start thinking about in order to be able to address these problems.
How did you get the money to make the movie?
We did fundraisers, and then we funded it out of pocket too, and then there was also a lot of donations of resources for the programs too.
So where is the movie now?
Well, right now we're doing community screens across New Orleans. In fact, next Thursday we're going to be screening at Ashe Cultural Center right across the street from
here
y'all.
from Casa
Yeah,
Borrega. Okay.
at 6 o'clock.
Okay, so
Yeah, and
people
then-
listen to the show at all sorts of different times and different years even. So
Right.
what is the date?
That would be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is
Sure.
Thursday, September 19th. September 19th
Yep.
at 6 p.m.
Thursday, September 19th at 6 p.m.
2013.
2013.
Thank you, Jeremy.
If you're listening to this in 2014,
Planet
you
Earth.
missed it.
Oh, maybe
But
you
no,
can download it. by that.
But yeah, no. Well, actually, you can download it too off of Vimeo.com.
You can right now today.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So no
Vimeo.com.
matter where you are,
Yeah,
you can
$4.99. It's a download.
It's $4.99.
Yeah, $4.99. And then also another thing is that we're dangerously close to having a television deal. So we're really hoping I'll know something more about that by next week.
Meaning
So-
you will be able to see it on TV, not that you're going to have a series about this or anything.
No, that you'll be able to see it on television.
Okay.
So,
That's great.
yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's all worked out.
Yeah, no. It's been a long road, but the film is great, and I think it's something that everybody here needs to see.
The film's called Shell Shock.
It's called Shell Shocked. Yes.
Wow.
Very good.
Yeah.
Impressive. Have you seen it, Jeremy?
No, I haven't.
We have to.
I was always interested because I had a brother that had an album called Shell Shock, and I was like, there's a movie called Shell Shock.
Yeah. What did it come out in the late '90s?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? When I did like a Google search of it, I saw that album. It was a compilation. It was a few artists on that album, right?
No, it was
No?
it was like featured artists, but it was put out on No Limit Records.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. I saw that.
My
Yeah.
brother, his
That's
name is
crazy.
Mac. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's
I
a
was
small
like, I
world.
wonder if that's like, because I saw the documentary, like, just around, and I was like, a New Orleans documentary about gun violence and like,
Well, your brother should sue them for sure, right?
yeah.
No.
What co-
We'll get some letters.
I'll give you
this
my contact
actually
information.
was a whole big.
I was going to say, it's quite a coincidence. How's your brother doing?
It's
What's happened since we spoke about that last?
I mean, we for a second we was working with a lawyer. So my brother was wrongfully accused of murder, and he's serving like 30 years in prison.
Really?
And, yeah, and it's off of just it's a long story. There's like a documentary about it and stuff like that, and about the story and stuff. And like
There is a documentary about it.
yeah,
What's
it's
that
called The
called?
Camouflage Troop, and it's just about the
I've heard about that.
yeah. And yeah, so the latest was, I mean, we had this like, they was trying to talk to the parents of the victim and like see if they like, if he can kind of get out off of like good time and stuff, but they're just like so into like what they're about that they're like not trying to have it, and they're like, the latest, I think they're like looking for a lawyer or something like that, but he's just trying to stay positive after 13 years.
He's
prison.
been in for 13 already.
13 years, yeah. It's been a long.
That's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it's scary because it's like, that could be anybody. That can be any one of us just like having a random day when something happens and then all of a sudden you're in the wrong position. Next thing you know, 13 years later, and you like the Orange is the New Black show.
Right.
Is he in Louisiana? Is he in Angola?
He's in Louisiana. Huntsville, I think it is. It's just like this place around Baton Rouge.
Do you get to see him much?
Yeah, I don't go enough because I'm always like running around and stuff. But I mean, I could. It's like 2 times a week, 2 times a month. Like I could go. So
Right.
like I probably go like once every 2 months.
Amir Baraka was talking about doing something about getting him out of jail, and he's the
He's the narrator
Narrator
of
on
the
your
film. Yeah,
film.
Amir's a good friend of mine.
he was talking about when he was on our show. Remember with the last time you were on,
Yeah.
and that was Khalil Osiris and Amir Baraka and you.
Yeah, that's another random coincidence.
Yeah, that was a total coincidence. This one is too.
Yeah.
It's so funny how
always
this
comes
show
back
does
around.
that. Yeah, but so nothing's happened. And I mean, we haven't got any further since we last spoke about it a year or so ago.
No.
So if anyone's listening to this and they want to do something to help your brother in jail and explore this,
his old albums just became available online, so, and all the funds go to like the case and stuff. So
are the No Limit guys doing anything about it? Is there still a No Limit Records?
yeah, there is, but that's kind of a story within itself because they kind of they didn't want to get involved because it was like it looked bad on a label or something like that, some craziness. I was too young to know exactly what was going on, but they kind of just brushed it off and performed this verse on was that one of those award shows? It had to be like was it the VM? I think it was the VMAs. It was the VMAs. Yeah, it was way back in like 2000 or whatever. And right after he went to jail, they like performing his verses on the VMAs, and it's like you're not doing nothing about it, but you're still taking taking the credit. Yeah.
I wonder if just we have to get out of here. It's time to leave. But I was looking at your documentary and then all this stuff about gun violence that people have been talking about. I wonder if there's any possibility of having a part of the city where you wouldn't be allowed a gun. Has anyone ever talked about that?
Sarah Houston, who's with the school board, one time me and her were talking about this, and one of the things I think that was really disappointing last year was when Congress it didn't even go to the floor to vote about a ban on assault weapons, and you have all these people that sit there and they talk about their rights to the Second Amendment, and even that ban was not going to take a gun away from anybody. What it was asking is that people that we regulated them, and the reality is that those kind of weapons, the people that end up at the wrong end of those weapons are kids that are growing up in these neighborhoods, and they have no choice but to grow up in these neighborhoods. And I think that a ban on assault weapons would help save the lives of tons and tons of children that die every year at the hands of gun violence. And so one thing that Sarah Houston talked about, and I thought was a brilliant idea, was to try to pass a city ordinance just in New Orleans that said that we do not want assault weapons to be legal here in New Orleans. And it would end up being more symbolic than anything else, because it'd be really hard to be able to stop people from trafficking them into the parish. But I think it's a start. I think that it's something that if we could say it as a community that we want to get rid of assault weapons, then I think that could send a clearer message to Congress where people are standing on this issue.
I was thinking of a more radical idea than that, like 10 square blocks or whatever it is that we all decided that's a no-gun area. And you could live there, and nobody's allowed to have a gun.
Maybe it's one of those things like maybe that'll be the biggest targeted area. If I was, I'm just speaking from if I was a robber or something. Let's go to the place where
nobody's got a gun.
Yeah, right.
Okay, haven't thought that through.
So, documentaries like yours, John, they usually they black out at the end, and then they say if this has affected you, you should. Does yours do that? And what do you recommend people do?
Well, one thing that we are strong on the mentoring. And once again, I say this: we don't think that it is the solution. We think it's part of the solution. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of our documentary, one of the things that we do is we point people in the direction of our website, which is shellshockdoc.com. Mm-hmm. And we say, and if you want to figure out how you can possibly be a mentor in your own community, then here's some steps that you can take. Mm-hmm. Next Sunday, we're doing a screening with Tomco Nola's Film Festival, and we're going to take donations up there, and we're doing that with Fifth Ward Weeby. Mm-hmm. He's a rapper here. And he has a new organization that's called No Time for Crime, where he's teaching kids about music and about how to operate studio, how to make albums. And so we're gonna raise money for his program, and we're gonna screen Shell Shock then, and then we're also going to screen Kay Gates' Murder Capital at the same time. But so if anybody is interested, visit our website. It's shellshockdoc.com, and we can send you in many directions on how you can help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, John.
You're welcome.
And Jeremy, what's the new single from St. Bell called?
We Rise.
We Rise.
Yes.
And that's available at stbell.com.
Yes,
SAINTBELL.com.
Yes.
And Johnette, where can we find you?
JohnetteDowning.com, and I just put up a new video on YouTube. It's called Read. From my Reading Rocks CD.
Okay, thanks very much, everybody. Andrew, that's the end of our show today. Our guests have been sitting around the table here: John Ritchie, Johnette Downing, Jeremy Phipps, Andrew and I as well. Our show is recorded live at Casa Borrega on Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard. You can come down here and get yourself a cocktail or have a great meal, and hear some live music as well, mostly Latin jazz. Our show is produced today by Graham DePonte. Our associate producer and technical director is Chris Kehoe. Our music director is Christian Andrew, and the theme music that you're currently listening to was written and is being played by Mitch Foreman. The fabulous audio quality of this show is brought to you in part by PreSonus Audio Electronics. PreSonus makes some of the best audio recording and live sound products around, including Studio One music production software, Studio Live digital mixing consoles, Era studio monitors, and much more. You can visit presonus.com for more info about that. If you'd like to be on our show and you can sit around a table for about an hour and have a cocktail, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, where you can also find many other happy hours to listen to while you're jogging, going to the gym, or pretending to work. You can also hear Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace, Mindset with psychiatrist Dr. Nick Pajek, True to the Game with the awesome Chris True and Tammy Nelson, Vietnola, our show about the New Orleans Vietnamese community, and Midnight Menu Plus One with Margot Moss and the man who ate New Orleans, Ray Canada. You can keep up with us on Facebook, Twitter, and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well, and all of it where it's New Orleans. If you listen to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or some other podcast thing, thanks for subscribing to us. Take a moment to rate and review us. That'll help other people find us. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For Andrew Duhon sitting to my right, Graham DePonte sitting over there at the other table, who's the producer of our show, everyone back at the INO office and around the world. That's a bit of an exaggeration. I'm Grant Morris. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on Happy Hour.
Hi folks, Dirk Bentley here. Being on the go is a big part of my life. I love seeing new places, meeting new people, and performing all over the world. For energy on the go, for me, it's 5 Hour Energy. It works fast, works long, and it tastes good. With 0 sugar and 4 calories. Try it. It could work for your on-the-go life too. 5 Hour Energy. Energy on the go. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.